Greetings, Patrick here, and it's time for another edition of Dollar Theater. Dollar Theater is an ongoing series started by our good friend Hobbs Hoare, and this is where we watch and review films that we have gotten for $1.25 or less. So today, we decided to go into horror territory. Um, I got this week. Actually, I got this week when I was intrigued by it. And I thought, well, this would be actually a fun movie to talk about. So let's talk about it. Um, 2021's Separation. Separation. What really intrigued me about this was when I picked it up was it's from Universal, but I had never heard not a single word about it at all. Even though 2021, came out in 2021, but I haven't heard a word about it at all. Not even since it got released. Never saw a trailer. Never heard anybody talk about it. Never saw any reviews. I guess if I would have went to the IMDb page, I would have. But the fact of the matter is, since I didn't even know it existed, why would I do that? But I saw this at the library and I said, okay, I'm going to pick it up. Um, it hooked me right away because it has Brian Cox in it, and of course, this being a horror film, and Brian Cox, knowing that he had done the autopsy of Jane Doe and was absolutely top drawer in that movie, I was curious because I did not know that he had done other horror films than Jane Doe. So this film is directed by William Brent Bell, written by Nick Amadeus and John Braun. I believe they were well-known comic book writers. They have also written some really good scripts as well. The movie stars Rupert Friend, young actress, up and comer, Violet McGraw. Yeah, it's weird. When I looked at it's like she's so tiny in this movie, and then the next thing you know, you see she's almost 15 years old. It's been a while. It's been a while since this came out, 4 years, and a young actress who just now seems to be cracking as well. But back then, I think she was a relatively unknown, and that is Madeline Brewer. So the story, and also this also features Brian Cox and Mamie Gummer is in this film too. And if you don't know who Mamie Gummer is, her mom is the legendary Meryl Streep. But Mamie can hold her own. She's a good actress. She doesn't need. I guess I don't know. She would have. I mean, there's a reason why she goes with her last name differently, but she can hold her own. No doubt about that. So the story is that Jeff and Maggie Vaughn, played by Mamie and Rupert Friend, they're a couple where Maggie is pretty much the breadwinner, and and Rupert is a artist, a comic book artist, but has really struggled. He had one big hit, uh, and he cannot seem to get past that. So he's sort of in a creative rut, and that causes a lot of stress for Maggie because she's pulling all the weight. Even though her family is well off, she doesn't really like the idea of just because her husband doesn't have to work, but he doesn't seem to want to work. So that causes stress, and so due to her father, Paul, played by Brian Cox, she decides that she's going to initiate divorce proceedings and take full custody of their daughter Jenny, who's played by Violet McGraw. Um, so those two are fighting a lot. Basically, they're fighting over. They're going to fight over Jenny, and the babysitter tries to help out too. Samantha Nally, Samantha, that's her name. Um, she tries to help out a little bit, but she's too sort of caught in the middle of this, and you feel sorry for her as well. She has to see this and hear it a little bit, and so as they ramp up divorce proceedings, Maggie seems to get more angry because that Jeff is going to actually fight for custody, and really didn't have much of a prayer doing so. It seems to be more just to aggravate Maggie than anything else. But Jeff does love his daughter. He does, and he doesn't want to lose her. Not especially when he finds out that Maggie's going to be taking her across country. Um, so as one day as they're fighting, suddenly Maggie is killed. She is hit. She's a victim of a hit and run. A car comes and just splats her. And of course, this is really rocks everybody's world. And but during the funeral, after the funeral, during while they're gathering at the house, Paul comes up to Jeff and makes it clear that he is going to go after custody of Jenny. He's a rich and powerful man, and he's got resources, and he's going to use them because that's what his daughter would have wanted. And he's not particularly happy with the fact that his daughter got killed and it's a hit and run. So he's going to put his same formidable resources into finding who killed his daughter. Now, soon after this, then we start seeing ghostly apparitions. We see puppets moving around. Jeff and Jenny are they're starting to see creatures throughout the house, and it's starting to get really creepy. And scaring Jeff. Uh, Jenny's starting to see her mom. Starts commenting about it. She goes into places that she shouldn't be in the house, and yet, and even though the door has been locked, somehow she has managed to get inside the attic. Pretty soon, and just in case this is just between those two. Soon enough, Samantha is drawn into this, and she starts too seeing manifestations. Now Jeff is still working hard at securing his daughter, and he runs across a friend, old college friend, a comic book who started a new comic book company, and when Jeff says, well, we could bring back a book that he created called The Grizzly Ken, but his friends going like, no, we don't really want to do that. We want to, his friend Connor says, we don't really want to do that, and I'm just thinking, maybe he can come out as an inker. And initially, Jeff says no, but he needs a job, so he comes back, and he talks to Connor. As he's talking about him, he starts showing his partner, Connor's partner, Alan Ross, comes in and says he's got a great new concept for a dark comic book, and he's got it in his head, but he just needs something to trigger what it looks like. And then he sees some of Jeff's drawings, and that Jeff has seen in the house, and he sees them and he says, "That's what I want. That's what we need for our new book." So Jeff gets hired. Jeff gets hired by the comic book company, and Alan and Jeff start working together. And soon enough, Jeff and Alan they become quick friends, and they discover and Jeff discovers that Alan actually knows a lot about the occult and the strange things that go bump in the night, and they start talking. And Alan says, "It sounds like your wife isn't done with you yet," and so that triggers a whole new ball of wax. Whereas Jenny has said that she has seen the mom. Now Jeff has to figure out, well, what's his mom want? Is mom looking for revenge? What's mom want? Why is she haunting the house? And that really is a huge huge question. And then when Paul comes over, after initially being hostile, Paul starts coming over and wants to help out. He wants to start making things a little right. And then he finds a blockbuster. He finds a bombshell, and he dashes over to the house to find Jeff. And we'll leave it there. Yeah, this movie was interesting in the fact that it's it reminded me of a Blumhouse picture, to tell you the truth. Blumhouse does a lot of movies that went straight to video. Movies like Mercy and um, and that come out underneath the radar. Nobody knows about them. They're just releasing them quietly. I don't think this movie probably got a big hoopla or about it. It's rated R, which really is wrong. It should be PG-13 for sure. It probably would have got a bigger audience as a PG-13 film. Rated R is because they used a couple of curse words. There's no gore in this movie at all. There's no gore. There's some puppet things that you see, but we've already seen those things before. And that's the one thing I have to say about this movie. Well, it was competently directed and has a above average cast. It doesn't present anything new that we haven't seen before and seen it better. Um, puppets moving on his back. It's it's just the performances are really what the key is, and the acting is really solid. It's real solid. They do the best they can with what they've got, and I just think if they really wanted to make this movie pop, and that is to create a little bit more action. There have been maybe a couple of interesting, rescues, or or maybe someone who has evil intentions against Jeff, and wants to hurt him, or something, or after Paul, there had to be a little bit more of a bite with this movie because otherwise it just lays here. It lays here. It doesn't really go anywhere, and that's a real shame because there's a lot of talent wasted in separation. Um, and I will say the one thing I disliked the very most at this movie was at the very end, where the end it should have been 100% locked and loaded. This is a standalone film. There's no room for anything else other than that. And then what do they try to do during the final credits? Try to show the creepy puppet again, but this time it's evil, and it's like Jesus. I mean, could you just check mark for every trope haunted house movie there is, and you completed it by having that. Um, I have to say the one performance that stood out for me in this movie is Simon Quarterman, who played Alan Ross. He was excellent. He really, really was excellent. I mean, I liked his character quite a bit, um, and I liked the name. Like they named his name. I thought working in comics, I thought the name sounded familiar to me. I'm going like Alan Ross. Why does that feel familiar? And then when I poked around, he was named after Alan Moore from Watchmen and Alex Ross from DC's tremendous run over at DC. I thought that was really interesting. Him having the same name as two legendary comic book artists, comic book folks. Everybody else, like I said, was really, really, really strong. Was strong, and it just needed a better story to take advantage of the cast. All right, well that's it for Separation. There's no special features on this, unfortunately. It just came out. It probably came out and went out without a whisper. And so if you have seen Separation, I know you have, Ryan, so you don't count. If you have seen Separation, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Uh, that's right, our good friend Ryan. He came over and says, "Yeah, I saw this movie." Um, I have to agree with his assessment of it. It was pretty much spot on. He says, well, you were right. It could have been a lot better, definitely. But it didn't. But it didn't suck. It didn't. I wouldn't say that I would. I'm not in a big hurry to watch it again, but I would. And so if you have seen Separation, drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think of it here on Dollar Theater. If you've seen it, I'd love to have your opinion. Love to see a comment on it. I'll drop a trailer, of course, inside the review, so you can go ahead and take a peek at it. It is 2021, or yeah, 2021, so it is brand new, recent, basically. and you can get it at anywhere because it's a Universal Studios, so you can get this anywhere, anytime. All right, well that's it for Separation. Look forward to seeing the cast, upcoming cast, Violet McGraw and Madeline Brewer. They seem to be like becoming big stars now. It'll be interesting to see where their careers go. All right, that's it for us. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.